Zentanimal. Zentangle Animal.
Today, we're going to use the Zentangle method, and we're going to apply it to something objective, something representational. So last week we did a Zentangle method. We did the kind of the traditional way of using a 3-inch by 3-inch square. We also used Google Canvas. Some of us work by hand, and that's still an option with this project. If you'd like to just work on with traditional materials on paper, you are welcome to do that. But this tutorial will show you a digital solution to this project. So the big difference here, right? We're instead of just doing some abstract thing, we have a balloon dog, right? I chose a balloon dog. And we could choose anything. I think an animal is a great thing to work with. You could think of like, what's your spirit animal? My spirit animal is a balloon dog. But your spirit animal, you could think of a portrait. You could do, it could be a plant. It could be anything, but something representational. So we're gonna find that representational thing, and we're gonna follow the exact same steps that we would use to make a Zentangle, which is outlining the thing, breaking it into compartments by using strings, right? We use the terminology of strings, and then tangling, creating patterns and focusing on variation within those things. So I'll walk you through this step by step. Maybe it would be good to start with a fresh page, so we could start from the beginning. So the first thing, step one, I have to make sure that I'm logged in to my Google account. I can see that I'm logged in, with my EBC email. I can tell by my Bob Ross icon. So I'm logged into my drive. Once I'm there, all I need to do is Google Canvas. This is just a refresher from last week. So here's Google Canvas. I see it says canvas.apps.chrome. I click on that, and I'm in. And I have some things that are already in there. If I were to click on here, or let's go back. If I were to just do a new drawing, right? This is, if you haven't used it yet, it'll just bring you to a page like this where you can start drawing. So if you get there, go home. See, there's a home button. It looks like a house. So I click there, and then it's going to give me two options that say new drawing or new from image. So you can see I've been playing around with some images there. So I want to find an image. I want to find an image that I can import. So let's think about that. Let's think about what do we want to import. In my case, I did a balloon dog, but let's say I wanted to do, oh, I don't know. I want my Zentangle to be of a lion, right? So I might Google lion, and I'll press. I'm gonna make it even easier on myself by putting in the words outline. So I could find all these great examples of line out. Maybe I'll go to images. These great examples, and a lot of these are other people's art, but we're going to change it enough where it becomes our art. So like, let's say I get to this, and I decide I really like this version, right? I'm not crazy about this, right? This is all right. So I could save it from here by right clicking or two finger clicking or control clicking and saying same as, but I'm going to open image in a new tab just so it's full size, and then I'm going to save the image as, and I'm going to give it a title, something that I could remember. I'll call it Lion Test on the desktop. So good, Lion Test desktop. That's good. All right. I know I have my image, so I'm going to go new. Instead of new drawing, I'm going to say new from image. And I can just kind of search my thing, lion, test, open. Okay, so I'm ready to start working in here. Now, I could just put the Zentangle right on top here, but I think what works much better is if I do an outline of this thing. Now, it might be helpful to maybe change the color a little bit once I start the outline. So maybe I'll do gray instead. I could use a pen or pencil. Maybe I'll do pencil, and I'll kind of zoom in on this. So the way I'm going to zoom in is by pinching, right? The same way I would like zoom in on my phone. I'm just kind of pinching to zoom in there, and I could start doing the outline. Now I'm having a hard time seeing that, so maybe I'll find a color that will make sense. This I see much better. Maybe I need a different material. So I'll start in pen. Since that was already kind of gray, the black seems to be showing up very nicely, right? So I'll go through and I can move this around and I will trace my entire image. And what's nice is if you could see over here, there's a layers panel. It's already tracing on one layer. If I got rid of the image, I'll only see the lines, right? So eventually I could get rid of this. It's going to be my drawing. I'm tracing over it. So let me go back and I'll bring you to my balloon dog that I'm almost complete with. You can see down by the feet, I have some areas that I can complete, and I'll kind of do that with you guys. First, I want to show you how this works, and I did it in lots of layers, just so I could show you what my process was. So I'm going to hide all of the layers and bring us right back to the beginning. There is no better place to start than the beginning. Okay, so the first thing I did was I started with an image. I imported this balloon dog. I didn't find an outline. I wanted to kind of work with my own image, which is fine. And the first thing I did was I used the pencil tool, and I traced everything that I saw there like this. And I traced, I mean, you could see I traced the highlights, I traced all of the shadows and shapes, and I ended up with something like this. Now this doesn't look like a Zentangle, but it gave me a good idea of what my image was. So the next step I did was I decided I wanted to break this down into sections, into strings. So I used the pen tool, and I traced around everything, and then I created these compartments. Now, when I was making the compartments, and I'll hide the pencil now because I just wanted that. When I was making the compartments, I was thinking about the contours. And what do I mean by that? The contours are like I could almost feel the surface, right? A contour is an outline, but it's also a contour describes what the surface would feel like how we would move around that surface. So I thought of, and that's an optional thing. But I like that. I like working with the contours. Then I started working with some tangles. Now, I can walk us through this kind of like tangle by tangle. But one thing that helped me a lot, and you kind of see over to the side, and I should mention, I like working like this. A lot of people they'll click this this green button to maximize their screen. I don't like that green button. That's nice if I'm watching a movie on an airplane. But if I'm working, it's nice to be able to move my screen around so I can see things off to the side. Now, you see I have like all of these patterns. Now, in the assignment itself, you'll see there's a hyperlink to Zentangle pattern. So I could click on that and I could kind of drag it off to the side, and I can have this here. And I found it to be really helpful to give me ideas, right? Some of them I tried to copy exactly. Some of them I just like was inspired a little bit by. So I'll continue to reveal some of these patterns that I chose to do. Right, so you can see these things kind of unfold a little bit, and then I had this one I just did as one layer. Now you don't have to do each of your patterns as its own layer. I just did that as a way to show you the process a little bit, right? So there we are. We have this like really I think kind of cool looking Zentangle thing, and I left two more sections, and I thought I'd like to do those last two sections with you guys, so you can kind of see the process. You see I'm really zooming in there. And you can already see I've borrowed a lot of patterns. I see this pattern, this kind of like willow-looking berry type tree type thing. I like that. I did a variation of that. So I'm taking some of these patterns, I'm making some up. The I'm going to look at this, and I kind of like this loose checker looking pattern. So I'm gonna do something loosely based on that. I might have like some diamonds that wrap around there. So I'll start with this. Let's see if the size of that is nice. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. So let's do this. I'm gonna maybe make some diamonds. And a lot of times I don't even know where this is gonna go. I mean, I don't know what the next steps. I'm just gonna kind of like succumb to the fate of the marks a little bit. I'm not like backtracking, just allowing these lines to. I mean, if we did the same type of line, the same thickness, it starts to be like predictable, like a little bit boring. But this I kind of like. This is I have all sorts of different things happening. So I like that. That looks pretty cool. Do I want to do anything else here? Yeah, maybe I'll fill that in. Nah, I don't like it. Command Z. Command Z, I don't like it. That's pretty good. Now I want to show you with this last piece, I want to show you this trick that I came up with that I really like. And it's like, I know we say don't use an eraser, but this is going to be a tool where we use the eraser, not to fix mistakes, but as a tool. I'll show you. So I have the black. I'm going to make this big. I want to fill in this whole section, so I might as well make this kind of big. Now, once I get that filled in, I could use my eraser, but it's more like using my eraser as a tool. It's going to make these like white marks. You kind of see I did the same thing right up here where I just dragged the eraser and I made this like checker thing. But this time I think it would be kind of fun, kind of cool to get the eraser and just use it like to make spots. Let's okay. So I'm using my eraser to make spots. So that kind of came out cool. I like that. And I'm going to even go back and say, I'm going to go back and use my pen tool, and I'm making spots within there. It's kind of just a cool way to make a pen tool. Really nice. I like that. I'm gonna zoom back a little bit and see what it looks like. And I want to show you one other trick that I was kind of playing around with this. I really like the there's a chalk type tool. You kind of see here, like areas like here, I use the chalk tool to almost make like a shadow and separate areas. So I could go through with this chalk tool. It's a little bit transparent. Go on this like back leg and kind of use it. It's like magic. It pushes the leg back, right? Even though like maybe the belly of the dog casts a shadow on that bottom leg. So you see how like just that little chalk tool added some interesting depth. So let's zoom back out. I'm happy with this. I think this is an awesome looking balloon dog. Proud of this one. So cool. So I like this. What I'm going to do next is I go to these three dots and I say save image as. And it saves it as a PNG. I'm going to open that image. There it is. And I could use that. I mean, we could talk in the future. We could use this in like Google Drawings. We can manipulate this further. It can end up being a pretty cool thing. As a matter of fact, I started messing around with that just a little bit. I'll show you an example. As a matter of fact, I started like I imported one into Google Drawings. I started playing with the background and doing all sorts of stuff. But we'll save that. We'll save that for another day. So I downloaded my PNG file. Now I'm going to go to my assignment. I can go to the very end where it says attach your Zentangle image. In this case, I mean, I could just drag it right in there. There it goes. I attached it right in there, and I can answer the reflection questions. what went well, what were some challenges, what were some changes that you made. How do you think you might use these techniques in the future? So I do that. I answer those questions. I have my image attached to the actual assignment, or I can attach it. I could attach the PNG assignment to the Google Classroom assignment itself. Turn that in, and that's great. That should be a 95. I'm really looking forward to seeing your drawings, and good luck with this project.